I started 2025 with a grand plan. My aim is to really build my online presence and build some influence online. And the plan was to, show up and be consistent online, publish consistently. In fact, my quota was publish every single day on LinkedIn, publish every single week on YouTube, publish a couple of times a week YouTube shorts, and publish every single week on Substack. We're barely halfway into month three, and I've already failed to keep up with my quota. The reason I'm making this video is because often people talk about, their journey after they figured it out or after they've gotten some success. But I want to share the mess as it's happening. I want to share the successes as they're happening because I feel like that may be more relatable to people who are also going through the same struggles. Now, don't get me wrong, I've worked on several branding projects. In fact, I'm usually the strategist on those projects, which means I've done some research. I'm the guy with the frameworks for solving the problems, and I'm the guy that tells you do ABC, and or you're more likely to achieve the goal you set for yourself. And with all that experience, it still doesn't prepare you for when you do it for yourself, right? So I know it's going to be hard to build my online. In fact, when I was setting that quota, I was telling myself, big man, are you sure you have the facilities for all of this? I was like, nah, we'll push through. In fact, at the end of January, I was like, this cannot continue like this. But I was like, push through. And then February came, I tried to push through. I was still able to beat my quota. By the way, I still haven't published. Okay, I've only published one YouTube video. This will be my second YouTube video in 2025. And my first YouTube video went live yesterday. I published it yesterday. So it's March and I'm just publishing my first YouTube video, YouTube Shorts. Anyway, so I know it's difficult, and so I'm sharing this because I feel like if you understand that I'm walking right beside you on the journey as well, or maybe I'm just a couple of steps ahead, that might be relatable as different from me coming after I've made 1 million followers and telling you how it was incredibly hard in the beginning and all of that. Now, what I want to do with my brand is I'm trying not to embody the guru by any means or form. And not that I have a problem with the guru. Now, most of the people that I regard that have the guru persona probably don't like the concept of guru or being called that. But and a lot of them have actually seen success. A lot of them actually practice what they preach. A lot of them, are actually genuine, not fake. But I just feel like it's a bit more relatable to share, the journey as it's going. There's something to that. There are not many of there are not many people doing that online now, and I feel like that's a bit more relatable. So back to the story. At the beginning, I was fired up. This is the year where I get the ball rolling, and like I've said in my last video, and I will say a lot. The reason why I haven't grown an audience is because I haven't been consistent. My journey has been one of starting and stopping. I posted my first content with the mindset of building an online presence somewhere around end of 2016, beginning of 2017. That's a long time. And because I haven't been consistent, there's barely anything to show for it. And I even deleted some of those, some of those pieces of content of the internet. Not that they were controversial, I just didn't like them. I felt like they were cringeworthy. To be fair, some of them actually got good engagement, and I just kept going. But hey, we're here, right? And so this time around, I actually sat down, I planned, I'm like, okay, I'm going to show up consistently regardless of what happens. And this is month three. A couple of weeks ago, I decided, you know what, let's put a pause in this. Like, showing up consistently is fine, but if you're showing up consistently and you're not being valuable, you're not being present in what you're doing, then there's no point, right? So I decided I'm going to go back to the drawing board, and that's when I did some research, did some introspection, thought about what has gone on so far, and thought about why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling about my content. And that's when I came up with the crop framework, right? So the crop framework is basically a strategic framework that helps you build a foundation on which to build your online presence. Most of us, when we're building our online presence, the first thing we start thinking about is what content am I going to post? How can I go viral and things like that? So we'll hire a content strategist or a content creator or a social media manager, something like that. And we tell them we want to go viral or I want to build my following to 1 million by the end of the year, whatever. But we never really think about the strategic base on which to build everything. And what the core framework helps you to do, it's not necessarily to come up with, content styles or, content calendar or anything like that. It helps you to think about the impact you want to make and who you want to make that impact on, the kind of relationship you want to build with them, and what you're going to do to build that relationship with them, and what you're going to do when you successfully build that relationship with them. So the whole idea is based on the idea that everything you want from your online presence is on the other side of building a healthy relationship with an audience. But a lot of us don't think about building a relationship with an audience. We just think about creating content and hopefully the content does well, rather than thinking about impacting somebody's life somehow, figuring out a way to bring transformation to someone somehow, and let all your online activity be built around bringing this impact to this person as consistently as possible. Because if you do that, you will have successfully, if you do that over a period of time, you would have successfully built a relationship with them. And you build that relationship with enough people online. Now you have a big following. Now you can leverage that relationship for a better career, becoming an influencer, getting brand deals, making more money, speaking on stages, whatever it is. But we focus so much on what we want to get out of it and creating content so that we can get something out of it, rather than creating content or engaging in activities that is transformational for some people and trying to do that as often as possible, and connect with those people, really build a relationship with them. And then only after that do we now think about what we want for ourselves. So that's what the core framework does. Because with that kind of mission in mind, with the vision of bringing transformation to people, now you're mission driven with your content, right? You're mission driven with your online activity. Now, when you're going through what I'm going through now, which is putting in a lot of effort, but it's incredibly difficult and you have to push through, you're not thinking about, but the engagement is not much, because to be fair, the engagement is not that much. Interestingly, on LinkedIn, since I took a break a few weeks ago, I have still been getting engagement on past posts where on the day I published it, I didn't get much. Eventually started getting some likes and some comments, and people have been connecting with me since. And even though I haven't done much, right, I guess that puts something in perspective, which is, because you created it today and published it today and didn't get much today, doesn't mean next year people are not going to go back to see that post from the day. So someone said to think about it as putting books in a library. Just keep adding to the library. People may not find it today. They might find it a few years down the line. And so the fact that it doesn't do well today doesn't mean it's not successful. Let's park that. That's by the way. I go on tangents quite a bit, as you come to find out. So where was I? So I was talking about building the foundation. So with that foundation, when things get tough, you're not getting a lot of engagement, you're at the beginning of the journey and it sucks, you feel like you want to burn out, just think about what you're doing this for, which is the mission is to bring transformation to people, right? And that's kind of the lens with which you should judge success by, not by how many likes or whatever. Even when people start commenting, what's a comment that really strikes a chord with you, because the comment will be something in line with them appreciating you for bringing the transformation you wanted to bring, right? As different from fire emoji or I agree with what you said or something like that, nothing wrong with that, by the way. So that's what the crop framework does, right? It helps you to lay the foundation. Now, having laid the strategic foundation doesn't mean that the execution, like I said before, is now easier. The execution is still as difficult as it would be. The only thing is now you have a reason for eating the shit sandwich, like I referred to earlier on. And that's what I'm going through now. And it can be a bit depressing sometimes, I'll be real with you, but you just remember, okay, this is what I'm trying to do, and let's try and keep going, right? And so I haven't even resumed back on LinkedIn, to be fair to you. I have been thinking about, okay, what do I now do to get back on track, right? Now, I'm not going into it with the mindset of necessarily posting every single day. I think I'm going to get as close to that as possible. I haven't even come up with a quota yet. But at least I'm clear on the mission I'm trying to achieve now. I do know I need to be prolific with the content. For those who don't know what prolific means, it just simply means being consistent, having a body of work, always publishing as much as possible. But I don't want to just post because um, I have to post. I want to post with purpose now. That's the most important thing for me. So two things for me: I want to publish content with purpose, and I want to connect with people online. So I don't just mean, posting content that people would find valuable, but also actually reaching out to people individually. So I created a content on LinkedIn a while back where I spoke about people often focus on the one-to-many communication or one-to-many connection, which is I post content, a lot of people see it on their timelines. But many people don't focus on the one-to-ones, and a lot of magic happens in the one-to-one. So you see someone on your timeline say something cool, you drop a comment, they respond, you respond back. Or you see something on your timeline, they say something cool, you get into their DM and start a conversation, not to sell them anything, but just to really connect and rub minds on this intriguing idea that this person has. And I have done that a couple of times, and it turns out people are actually nicer than you would expect. I was expecting crickets. A couple of people did give crickets, and people have their lives to live. And so, but most of the time, people are responded. I remember having a chat with an executive in China. He's a white guy, but he's based in China, and we had a conversation about a post talking about urbanization in China, and it was a short conversation, but it was a nice one, right? I wasn't expecting anything back from the guy. So two things. So those are the two things I'm trying to do. Be purposeful about my post, focus on the transformation I'm trying to bring to people, and really build relationships with people online. Again, I went on another tangent. So, but the idea is that the strategic framework helps you to push, gives you enough of a purpose to stick with the hard times. If you're simply just online and you're thinking about what you can gain from it, you may not last long in the business. Even the people that we are now the influencers, your Mr. Beasts, your Kai Cenats, and the rest of them, they kind of focused on just doing the thing. So both of them are entertainers, and they just stuck with entertaining through the tough times. They knew they were going to entertain in some way. They may not have been methodical about articulating their mission or whatnot, but they had an idea to entertain people, and they stuck with it through the hard times. So if you take nothing from this video, take this. One, building an online presence is incredibly difficult, especially at the beginning. Like I said, a lot of successful creators have said this. The first few pieces of content, your first few attempts of creating content and putting yourself out there will suck, but you have to stick with it because eventually it gets better and your efforts compound over themselves, and eventually you get some good ROI. The second thing is, what will get you through the sucky periods, what will get you through the tough times, is understanding your why, having a strong enough why to be able to have a vision of the future that you're trying to get, and having that pull you through the tough times. And that's what Clarity Lab was set up to help you do. So there are two things. If you want to learn how to apply the crop framework to yourself, you can watch the last video I posted, which is basically a training on the crop framework, and it gives you it gives you the context for understanding the framework and applying the framework. And if you want to work with me to help you apply the framework to your brand, you can just click the link in the description. It will take you to a landing page that tells you a little bit more about it. And then, you can you can sign up for the private session. It's a virtual private session. It's going to take at least 90 minutes. It might spill over. I'm open to it spilling over. The most important thing is I bring you transformation. And in 90 minutes, we'll talk through what you're trying to do and we'll figure it out. And after which, if there's any need for some research, I'll do some research and then revert with a document that has a strategic plan for how to proceed with your online presence and all of that. With that said, I will see you in the next video. Like, share, subscribe if you like the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.